Right.
joy is a spiritual concept. It's a
Mm.
communication of your heart. And if you look at many spiritual philosophies, they all talk about joy. They all talk
Right.
about living a life of joy, which is communing with nature and God of your understanding. And
Right.
so I started to do a deep dive into that. And I also was celibate. I decided I was going to pull my, because I was not, I'm not walking out of that relationship like I was some perfect person and he was an animal. Like I've done a lot of things in my life that I'm not so proud of. And
Right.
instead of beating myself up, which is what I used to do, I decided to make amends with myself first and to look
Yeah.
in the eye and to take that as the beginning of a healing path. And
Right.
also lean to joy because we have a lot of rules that come from the way we were brought here to this country. And a
Right.
lot of things that keep us safe have a lot to do with never leaning into anything that's not in the Bible. So joy
Exactly.
is in the Bible.
Joy's in the Bible, and it's
And
okay.
you
Joy's
can't tell me I'm
repeated.
not.
Right. It's there. It goes on and on and on and on. But
So read your own book.
child.
Read
Right.
your own book
Right.
in truth, and start to practice some of these joy concepts about like really connecting to source.
Right.
Because that's not woo woo. That's religion. That's
That's
spirituality.
real. Right. That's
And so,
spirituality. Yeah, for sure. Now it's funny because we talked about that little cartoon meme with the heart in the cage and the brain has the key. The last component I thought was missing was the coochie, because that coochie interrupts life sometimes, child. And I think she's not connected to heart, but she masks the relationship. It looks like she's connected to heart, but she's really not. So a lot of times, women use sexuality and intimacy to replace what they feel is true love and true joy and true bliss, right? And so I would suggest that we add the coochie to the little cartoon.
I mean, let me tell you something. The coochie actually is connected to heart because in my relationships, like I do a lot of intimacy work, and I work with
Right,
that they've been together a long time and they're not into each other anymore, or people who are newly in out of a relationship and want to get in a new relationship in truth. And
right.
that coochie does a lot of lying. You know,
Yeah, that's
if
what I'm saying.
you
She's masking what we
but
think is real, and she's like, no, girl.
but she's not
But
no Berlin because what
right.
she's doing is she's getting lubricant. She's faking
Mm,
it. She's saying she's had orgasm. She's having a side lover. She's having an affair. That's all lying. That's all
mm,
her trying to ignore heart. She's lying
mm.
because when she is connected to heart deeply, she is an ocean and she feels great and she has no problem receiving pleasure.
Right.
She has no problem realizing and being honest what's not serving her. So if we're going to
Mm,
use her as an example here and try to ignore this heart work, then use her in truth. Because I was very good at doing the porn dance and
right.
making you feel good, and I can get you to come fast and all this great stuff, but I wasn't being served. And all these
Mm,
statistics that women don't have orgasms, we just don't tell the truth that we need a lot more time. I've been doing this
yeah.
thing with a lot of clients that are couples where instead of because we get frustrated and we're tired and we try to
Right.
explain how it works, but our bodies are different. So instead of continuing to try to do that, I've started doing this thing where we have date night master. So if you're going to have date night, then once a month, whatever it works, it's one person does date night and the other person is just the receiver. And all they do is
Really?
receive. They are like a rag doll. When it's mine, you can carry me. I want you to give me a bath. I want you to feed me, everything. And then you do in reverse because what happens is then women get out of their head. As soon as they're out of their head, they're in safety where there's
Mm.
more opportunity to have to climax.
It's like,
And
right,
also it
exactly.
teaches their other partner that they're going to have how long it really takes. It's hours. But
Wow.
starting with feeling each other's energy and just making little circles and little smiles in the skin, looking into
Right.
his eyes, like really taking it back to the beginning,
To the
taking
basics.
to the
Because we
basics and
rush,
then
we rush
reverse.
into the penetration, right? Well, men, I believe, rush
But
more
we do too
often.
now because we
Yeah,
lie.
that's true.
In our movies now, we kiss for 1 second and then they turn us around and give us a back shot and we get back to work. But we just switch it and we even do it to the partner. So they also get a night where they
Right.
don't have to do nothing. They
That's the
don't have to
thing.
think. They don't got to do anything, but it's actually secretly teaching us what we both actually need.
Right.
And then we don't feel like we have to say anything because we don't want to say anything. During sex, it's weird. Then their egos are uncomfortable.
Right, bruised and all this other
So
shit.
give
Yeah, because
yourself the space.
Right. I feel like you're right. I think that obviously the women's clock. I remember this other. I don't know what's up with me in the comic references, but this
Oh,
other comic, little snap. I mean, I'm a visual person, and it was the NASA, and you know how they have headquarters in Houston because they'll say Houston, there's a problem. And so there was this guy, I guess, at NASA headquarters in Houston, and he had this huge control board, kind of like, in the music industry, you've got the big producer boards, or I don't even know what they're called, but, they've got gadgets and buttons and all this other shit that you slide. And so at first glance, if you don't know what it is, it's overwhelming. You're like, there's all these controls, I don't know what to do. And so they said, that's a woman's body. Like all the freaking controls and all the slides, and you got to know what you're doing. And then a man's body was a light switch. It's on and it's off. And so the idea is you got to get all the slides right when it comes to women. You got to have all your equalizers set. Like you got work to do over here. Whereas the poor guys were just relegated to the on and off. And I'm not saying that they don't want more, but physiologically they don't necessarily need that much, right? To go on and come off. But women do. I don't give a damn what it is. It's you've got to start, sexually stimulating mind, body, and soul. So it's more holistic, I think, for us. And for them, it's like, show me your coochie and we're good.
but
We're good to
they need
go.
more too. They've been taught
They
some
do.
bullshit.
They do. They do.
And
They want the caresses.
prostate
Hmm.
cancer, and all that is about that. Like
What?
oh yeah, how much they're just filling up and ejaculating. That's a whole nother conversation. But they're not
What?
supposed to be just like pissing
Just
in the
busting
wind.
off.
There's
Ah, so you
there's
think
so
they're
much
missing
around
the
this.
caressing and the
Yeah.
love and the
Like I tell women when they're in oral,
what?
I teach a class called the Oracle of Oral. It's really
Yeah.
fun. And one thing I
Ooh.
explain is that women start all the way at the rectum and just massage the perineum with
Hmm.
your tongue or your hands, but that is a lightning bolt for them and it opens up so much in their reality. So start there, take the whole process down to a massage in that area, go
Right.
spend time in the testicles, the whole shot. Like there's so much there that they don't even know to light up their switchboard. And
Right.
when we do that, it actually connects to the heart and it connects to all these other parts of ourselves. But we don't give ourselves the time and space to receive or any of that or play with that because we're all scared.
No.
And I tell my male friends, if you're once you're inside, if you're sitting there trying not to come, then you already have taken yourself out of the experience and she'll never come because now she feels you're separated. And so now she feels unsafe because she thinks she's doing something wrong and you two are
Right.
fucked. So
The whole fuck session is fucked. Oh, okay, great.
so that's what I'm saying. We're all doing it all cuckoo. We've all been taught it.
Oh Lord.
It's
I
all
know.
cuckoo.
What's so funny is that we do this segment on the podcasts, and I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but we call it Kushae Catastrophes, where we talk about something that's going crazy in the world of intimacy and sex, whether it's
Yeah.
your world or you're talking for a friend, and or something you heard. But I think this is apropos. Like we're gonna just zoom over to the Kushae catastrophe because I think
Okay.
this is catastrophic. I think this is something that we're not talking enough about.